So the next session to lunch is to really familiarize ourselves with the basic Docker commands, just enough to get it working. You've seen this, so this allows you to sort of know that your system is working. Okay, and you've seen this about containers. So if you go to the about containers website, which is a registry, has a range of tools and resources for doing bioinformatics, and they're all being sort of Dockerized containers. And you've seen how we can search. So this was just an activity, just go in there, and if you search Nextcloud, for example, which is one of the really awesome and great tools for virus genomics, you get these two top hits. The first one is the builder. So that's a development image. So if you'd like to contribute to this tool, probably you want to download that version, or if you want to modify your own, modify the tool to suit your own purposes, and if that purpose then becomes generalizable, you can send a pull request to them and contribute to this really nice tool. And if you're just a user who just want to make use of this tool, you can pull this image. So if you click on here, it'll take you to the main page, provide you some description, and if you go to the Nextcloud website, it has all the details of how this tool works and why it's important. But it's more geared towards people in virus genomics. And you can try and pull it. So my next exercise really was for us to get an image from a registry. In this case, I've given an example of Nextcloud. So you can try and run this command, and it will pull this image. If you like, you can search the registry and pull an image that is more relevant to you. It's not going to make any difference. So this is, for demonstration purposes, how to retrieve or pull an image from the registry onto your Docker instance. Do we want to do that? Maybe let's try that. So we have one image, which was the hello world. Let's try and pull that image. So run docker pull Nextcloud. It's not going to do anything magical, but this is also confirmed that one, we are linked to the registry, and that means you can pull images from the registry. And all images are available there, which is quite a lot. Oh, this is the button. It's not really good. Docker. Okay, just do this here. Yeah, it's on the Docker. Maybe it was so the Docker is. Yeah, so let me pull the website. Yes.
You bring the ideas and solution. Studio something, studio one. Run your system.
And the reason we're doing that is just for us to do the next command, which is to identify images that are already in our system. Okay. So if you do Docker images, I've run this command with some of us. It's going to show us the images that are already downloaded. So if you've just done it, you'll have the next click, and you'll also have Hello World. I have a couple of others here on my system, but those are the images that have been downloaded on my profile. Okay, so like we did with the Linux the day before yesterday, you type a command, and then it shows you or displays or lists the contents of the images in this instance. If you're on a sort of a Windows system or windowing system, and I'm using that in a generic way to mean that you have a graphical interface, you can also look at it here, just more visually, so you don't have to do anything. Docker provides you this interface for a Windows, and most of what we're doing on the CLI, you can actually run it from here. Okay, just having a look. So the same information that is available on the CLI, the command line interface. Okay.
So George, for the
Yes.
for the GUI,
Yes.
when selecting the tool, you must be sure that there is a GUI version attached to the image.
Yes. Yes. So this seems to be almost like automatic for Windows and Mac. It comes with a GUI. I'm not so sure whether Ubuntu does, or you just need to do the CLI engine and not the GUI.
I mean, like if you are like say you are on the bio containers,
Yes.
and you want to pick an image and you are on the
Your
is it
on
like
the
all
CLI.
the tools, yeah, all the tools will have both versions, the CLI and the GUI.
Sorry, not get it.
Like all the images will have both versions.
So the bar containers is a registry, and the Docker is a registry. Right. So Docker is more general, whereas bar containers is an effort to try and have a registry of bioinformatics of images and tools.
Like Conda and Icon.
Yes. Yes, it's sort of the same thing. It's sort of the same approach where you have Conda that has, Conda Forge has all the tools, just generally. And it's nothing wrong if you also, as a bioinformatician, you can throw your tools in Conda Forge. But then you have Biocoda that's more curated list of just bioinformatics tools. So biocontainers is a registry, an effort to create a registry specifically for bioinformatics tools. Because when you go down to, if you go to the main registry, you've got hundreds of thousands of containers there, and they're not curated. So again, it's just an effort to create a curated list of bioinformatics containers.
So what I mean is, for example, Nextcloud and Nexttrain, they have that you can produce it on the GUI,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's also the
There's the web interface version of it. Yes. Yes.
There's also a command line version.
Yes. So the Nextcloud, see, the one that's over here is more of a command line, and not Nextcloud has sort of the web version, which you still can build or get in touch with them to show you how to.
So if you are working on the Windows, I see like the image, when you install the Docker on the Windows, it's coming like a movie.
Yeah, you have that GUI version, but if you go to PowerShell,
You can still
you have the CLI command of yes of Docker. So for him, for example, he's able to run everything from PowerShell.
oh
Yeah.
But is that only for Windows that the GUI is automatically downloaded, or does it work for Ubuntu also?
For Ubuntu also, you can download it. So Ubuntu,
But
no,
this
no,
one,
no, not for Ubuntu. For Mac OS, they have a GUI version. And Windows, they have a GUI version. I'm not so sure whether there's one. I'll check for Ubuntu and others. But there should be one, I guess. There is. Yeah, she has one.
did you,
Are you on Windows?
were you able to pull it, to open it?
Yeah.
So what it, does it also
So
open
Windows
it?
version? GUI. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it comes in a GUI. Yes. So there's a GUI version of it. Right. So if you do that, where was it again? Yeah, that should show us the images that are existing that we've downloaded. And next, let me see. Next. Yeah, the Docker run command. It's quite a complicated command, or rather has so many options. Okay, it has so many options. And one way just to run it without any options or do minus help, and I'll show you. But essentially it looks like this. So you have Docker run, and then you have options for run. Okay, and then you have the image name. Okay, and we see how to get the image name and the image arguments. So remember when you download or when you pull an image and you want to run something within that image, okay, you can do that directly by supplying the image arguments. Okay, we will see an example of how you actually do that. Okay, and the other thing you can do, so here we've got sort of the repository, we have the tag, and we have the image ID. Okay, so if you want to, or maybe we can't do that. If you want to run a specific image, you copy this number, okay, and then you can run that. All right, or execute that in your command line. Okay, so that will be the number that you show there. You know, so Docker run with some options. So let's try and do this live. It might be more useful. So I'm here. I'm gonna clear my terminal. I'm just gonna do Docker run. Okay. So first thing I want to do is that I want to look at the images so that I can capture the image ID. And let's say I want to run something here. Oh, I don't have my next page. So maybe I can do Docker food. What's the URL for it? Next page. Okay, so I'm pulling this image. I didn't have it. It's a big image. There we go. Now I have it. Next, I'll run Docker images to list my images. Let's clean a bit. I'll just run this here. So I got my images here. And this is the image ID. It's a unique number. And let's say that I want to run this image. Okay. I'll simply copy that number. I'll do Docker, and we'll come to this bit. Docker run. I'll do it interactively. And I can run that image. Okay. So if you look here, it's just like I'm within sort of a Linux system, and I'm doing this interactively, so I'm able to see the details or I'm able to execute commands directly and interactively. And we see how we can do this in a detached mode where you don't run it interactively. So essentially, the container now is running, and if you have a GUI, or if you open a separate terminal, am I jumping ahead of myself? Anyway, we'll come to that. I'm jumping ahead of myself. So the whole point is we're able to pull images, and we can run images, and we can find the IDs, and then we're going to use those IDs for those containers to then execute those images. Now we have a running container. Okay, so remember we had an image, and now we have a container. Okay, so what happens if I open another console here? Okay, and I do something similar here. I think I still have the number. Okay, I'm running into an issue there, but it's still working, as you can see. Yeah. So I have two containers running from the same image. Okay? Two containers running from the same image. Okay? So these are we come to see how you tell how many containers are running. But on the visual interface, maybe this might help, is that you can see that I got the same ID here. Okay, so this is the image, it's running, and this is the image, it's running. These ones are images, but they're not running, they've been exited. But these are the containers, and each of these containers is a unique name. But because this name is a long number here, what Docker tends to do is give us, give us sort of a random name, yeah, to identify that container. So this container is youthful towards. The other one is at Sanson, crazy great garbage. And if you look at those names, they might be familiar names. Yeah, who's Babbage, if you remember? Samson, Yura, Towards. Okay? But I don't see them being African names and African heroes. I got beef with these guys. Okay? Because it's not partly presented. And this should be. Okay? So you got loads of people here, but I would like to see more African names as random names. Maybe just right, so let's go back to the command line. And what I'm going to do here, I can exit and control this container here, but I can simply exit this container directly here. And you note that if I do, if I run this command here, I have now the full command and I can execute things. But remember, you're working within a container. Yeah. So this container is running on my operating system, but has no access really to my file system. It's completely in a sandbox. And for me to be able to actually do something meaningful, like work on a file from my computer, I would need to tell it where to find that file. Okay, and we'll see how we how to do that. So what I'll do here is I'll exit, right? And I think you can see that youth towards has exited. It's no longer there. If I come here, I can exit this. And if I go to my thing now, you can see that all my containers have exited. Okay? So I no longer. So, just to go back to run this command again. Yeah. So Docker images will list for us the images that are available that we'll have pulled from our registry. Okay, in this case we are using the Docker registry. Docker run, it does take options. The run command, if you go to your terminal here and you do docker run -h, okay, sorry, yeah, you can see that that command takes in a lot of options, okay, that control how that command runs. It's a gazillion of options, okay. Which is quite a lot, and I'll not go through each of them, but you can just see how many options are available for this command. Yeah. So I think an important one here is the RM, which means remove the container when it exits. Yeah. So like when I ran that and I exited, I may need to remove those containers. So, for example, here, I could run. No, I'll come to that later. Do that right now. Okay. Okay. So again, we just ran containers in interactive mode, meaning that when you run the container, it output the contents to your terminal, so you're able to interact with it. Okay. In some instances, you want to run it in a detached mode. Okay, so the container is out there, it's running in the background, but it's not giving you the shell. Okay, and for several reasons, you may have a service that you want to run, and you don't want it to interfere with your shell, and therefore you want to run it in a detached mode. Okay, so to do that, you run docker run -d or -- detached. In this case, I'm trying to run Alpine in a detached mode, and I can be able to access it. So we're going to do an exercise. How many of us are familiar with the Galaxy? Yeah? Yeah, a couple of us are familiar with Galaxy. Yeah, it's a really nice web-based service, but it also quite, I think it's not so straightforward to install, right? Yeah, but there is a containerized version of it that we can play around with. So for those of us that are have a working Docker version, let's try to do this, and then we'll explain this command. It's doing quite a bit, but let's run that. The fact that it's running in a detached mode, -p, make sure it's 880, and this is the name of the image, okay? And if it doesn't exist in your Docker, if you run that command, it will try and pull that image for you. It's quite a big image, but let's try to do it. You can always delete these images later on to recover your disk space, but let's run that command.
Sorry, so what is the -d?
So I'll explain this bit. So -d is detached, meaning that the container is going to run and then give you back your shell, but then it'll be running in the background. And then I'll explain what -p 880 means. Yeah. Yes. So if you're in the next clip, it would be nice to exit Just type it.
They are happy people who have big stickers.
Imagine it's an operating system and you need to exit. Yeah, I think it's here. Just type the command exit. So that it gives you back here. So if you're already were running interactive image, just exit. Just the same way you'd exit from a login shell. Just type in exit. It's not the most sort of clean way to exit a container because you'll still be a dangling container in the background. That's why we have the minus parent. Just exit. Yeah, just stop that container. But I hope you understand that.
Are we running in Galaxy?
Yeah, she's a computer. I made her So we all downloaded a relatively large image. So there may be some delay with it, but hopefully, and I hope that we all don't get penalized by our system administrator. Because we've just seen loads of things happen this week. I'll be like, what's happening?
Yeah, I think maybe because it's yeah.
So, yes. So something is running backwards. So the next step will come to